So how's your Masters Friday going? Scottie Scheffler had a whirlwind of a round two, and we have so much to talk about. A round three preview. Justin Rose still in the lead. Are you buying him at the top still? And the return of Rory McIlroy. We may or may not be eating crow here on this show, but it's still very early. 2 rounds to go at the Masters, and look at this stacked leaderboard. Justin Rose, Bryson DeChambeau shoots 4 under very easily, it felt like today. And now, guys, we have so many stars to talk about. Chris Brees, Will Gray, Casey Johnston. Will, I know what you're going to say. Rory, it's Friday. You got 2 more days to self-destruct.
Listen, to be fair, I'm not rooting for Rory to self-destruct here. I'm not the evil villain lurking in the corner here. All credit where credit is due. I was out there, had a privilege of watching Rory on his second 9 coming in, and that was an incredible performance that he put on. I really thought that he shot himself out of the tournament in that about 60 to 70 minute stretch to close things out on Thursday. That is not the case. This thing, not only did he put in a bogey-free 66 to vault back into contention, but boys, then the latter half of the day went exactly according to Operation McIlroy, because Scottie Scheffler started to falter a little bit. Justin Rose locks in at 8 under, not 10 under. All of a sudden, Rory's sitting here at 6 under. We talked on the show last night. We thought the lead was probably going to be around 9 or 10. Now you only have 2 guys better than 6 under, and then you got Rory sitting there at 6. I'm a little surprised to see Rory is the betting favorite. I think that has to do with how much money the odds makers have been getting in on Rory ahead of the tournament. But man, it was a all credit where credit's due. He has played his way back not only into the tournament but into the position of being the betting favorite.
Incredible. I mean, I'm glad we didn't talk about the potential of him being the betting favorite going into today, because I probably would have had some words that would make me be eating a lot of crow right now. I'll go back to what I said yesterday, though, on that maybe the whole shaking off his first early blow up was a good thing yesterday. He locked in today. Friday's been his terrible day at this tournament. Last 4 been 77, 77, 74, 73. Friday's been a dreadful day for him. For him to come out and shoot a 66 and look the way he did on that second 9, I mean, that's got to do a lot for his mental going into the weekend. 36 holes still to go, but I mean, I feel like he crossed a big hump today and had some insightful quotes afterwards about proving a lot to himself, and I think that's got to carry over into the next 2 rounds.
And here's where we're at, guys. Go ahead, Will.
I was just going to say, it was interesting hearing from Rory after the round. First of all, he knows he got super lucky with that shot on 13. He thought that thing was going into Ray's Creek. He ends up with an eagle. But he said you need to get those breaks in order to win tournaments, especially at Augusta National. But what I thought was interesting was he had a phone call in the morning with Bob Rotella, noted sports psychologist, who basically counseled him to say, don't try and get it all at once. When you go back out into the second round, don't feel like you have to make up those 3 or 4 shots that you lost very quickly. And that's what we saw from him in his second round. He made 8 pars and 1 birdie on that first 9. He was letting the golf course come to him. He was not trying to force the issue. Then all of a sudden you make the turn, birdie on 10, stuffs it on 11, makes a great up and down on 12, and capitalizes on a break on 13. And the entire script changed in a good way, kind of the 180 of how it flipped on him on Thursday.
I think right now we're seeing just how big this Rory Masters demon storyline is. This guy shoots 66 today, puts himself as the favorite, like you had mentioned, right back in the tournament. And we're still talking about, well, he's got Saturday to go. He's got Sunday to go. Guys, even if he's in the mix again tomorrow, he's still going to have these questions around him saying, can you get it done? Let's go back to the U.S. Open. Is that going to happen last year? What happened with him and Bryson? That's the reality of the situation, that the hole that he's basically dug himself in the last decade since winning a major. We're looking at it as, do you truly, Will, believe he is the favorite? In your head, in your mind, in your gut, is he the favorite to win this thing this weekend?
No. I mean, if you ask me, looking at this graphic, who would I rather have right now, Scottie Scheffler or Rory McIlroy? I'm going to take Scottie. I think Scottie would win more often than Rory if we simulate this out 10,000 more times. I think that, we'll get into the leaderboard further, but I think it's crazy to have Shane Lowry at around 15, 16 to 1 and 1 shot further back, and you're trading Rory at plus 330 to win. I'd certainly much rather take his friend, Mr. Lowry, than back Rory. But Chris, it's not only just the majors, it's the Masters, right? And he's going to have to answer these questions until he slips into that green jacket. And so many others, before him have gone through these hurdles and obstacles, and sometimes they get the jacket and sometimes they don't. But you have to keep answering the questions until you answer them emphatically on Sunday. not necessarily on Friday or Saturday. So the battle is not yet won, but he has definitely played his way back into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just as surprising as seeing him, 12-1 yesterday at the end of
Yeah.
yesterday's round.
Yeah.
But Will, you mentioned it, and I think you're right. I think it's because they already have a lot of money on Rory. We covered earlier this week on Golfbet social channels. 16% of the handle went over to Rory, so they're kind of protecting themselves there. I think that's where you're seeing a bit of that. And again, Chris, like you said, there's 36 holes to play. It comes down to Sunday. Masters Sunday is a lot different than Masters Friday. That's great to see from him today, but it's going to be a whole different animal come Sunday if he's still in the mix and he's got the likes of Scottie Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Rose still playing well. Some of these big names lingering. It's going to be a whole different animal come Sunday.
Yeah. 6th career bogey-free round at the Masters for Rory. Isn't that crazy? And the guy has never won. 6 bogey-free rounds. If he does that again tomorrow...
Honestly, I'm surprised that he's had 6.
Yeah.
For as much as he's had trouble with this place, I'm surprised that there have been 6 times that he's got a clean car.
Okay.
That's my takeaway.
Let's talk Scheffler because we would be lying if we tried to say that something feels off about the way he's playing. He's scrambling well. What happened on 12? He got lucky too, just like Rory got lucky. They've all gotten lucky this week. That's how you get to the top of the leaderboard. Is there a concern, Will, do you think, with Scheffler's game? Because if he comes back and wins this thing, he has already proven everything, but he's going to prove that he is an ultimate champion because he doesn't have his best stuff. It's almost like what Tiger was doing when he didn't have his best stuff and still winning. Scottie, can he win if he doesn't have his best stuff? Because right now he doesn't.
I think if anyone can do it, it's Scottie. I think I was talking to our colleague Paul Hodowanek about this afternoon, and it's an interesting dynamic now with Scottie being in chase mode. When he won the Masters in 22 and last year, pretty much the whole way he was leading. He had a 5-shot lead through 36 holes in 22. Last year, he was tied for second after the opening round and then had at least a share of the lead after rounds 2 and 3. So now it's a little bit of a change where he's chasing down Rory. He's got Bryson. He's got Justin Rose. He's got some big names ahead of him that he needs to try and get past. And you're right. He did not seem to have it all today. He capitalized the chip in on 12, really seemed to save his round, but 6 birdies, 5 bogeys. He was kind of all over the place. Now, granted, it was more difficult in the afternoon. The wind really started to freshen up. That 18th tee shot had guys in a blender for like 3 hours. No one could figure out how to hit the tee ball off of 18. And there was a little bit of a draw disparity, even though it's a smaller field. You don't quite have the early late, but it seemed like the better scores were early in the day for sure when Rory was playing as opposed to when Scottie was trying to finish. So it's not, he didn't make it look as easy as he did on Thursday when he was bogey free, but he certainly hasn't shut himself out of the tournament by any stretch.
That scorecard was a lot more noisy today than it was yesterday. We kind of expected that coming into today. We knew back-to-back bogey-free rounds are tough to do. Just ask Jason Day. But Scottie, like you mentioned, didn't really have it all today. A couple tee shots that were just really wayward, and you could kind of see it. If we know it, Scottie knows it. And if Scottie knows he didn't have all his stuff today and he's still 2 shots back and he's got 36 holes to go, that's a scary thought if he finds it. Now, he could come out tomorrow and still not kind of have it and just float in the mix. But no, he knows he didn't have it today. And if he finds it, that's a scary situation for everyone else at the top of that leaderboard.
But Casey, real quick, Chris, you mentioned how Masters Sunday is so different from Masters Friday. That element is I totally agree with you, but it's going to affect Scottie less than anyone else on that leaderboard, whether it's Justin Rose, Hovland, Jason Day, Shane Lowry, Bryson, whoever. They're going to feel that pressure much more than the guy who's had that jacket sitting in his closet for 2 of the last 3 years.
He has the. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, he has the nothing to lose mentality as a huge advantage going into Sunday around all of those guys. So yeah, that'll be huge.
Last thing on Scottie here before we move on. Let's say tomorrow's leaderboard looks a lot like this, and he hasn't done anything, and he's had those questions. Do you feel differently about him tomorrow? If tomorrow. People think he's shooting 68, 67 tomorrow. That's just what people assume out of Scheffler. If it doesn't happen, and if we're here again tomorrow, does that change your perception of him, Will?
I think that if he's in a close and compacted leaderboard, I like him more than if it's something where he's trying to chase down someone that's 3 shots ahead and he's got to go out and shoot that 65 or 66. That's why we've seen so many of these trends historically about the Masters being a front runners tournament from the first round to the second round all the way through the weekend. And it's, as guys have talked about this week behind the mic, that it's just so hard to try and press the issue at this place, and the margins are so thin that eventually you're going to get yourself in trouble. And that's why it's such an advantage to be able to play from the lead or around the lead. So I think that if he's going to go into Sunday thinking that he, has to just play well and take his chances, that's one thing. If he says, hey, I have to go out and start shooting at flags that I know I'm not supposed to and hope that it turns out well, that's hard for anyone, even Scottie Scheffler.
All right, let's go to the leader. The lead has shrunk from 3 down to 1 for Justin Rose. He cashed that plus 150 as second round leader. His odds are basically the same to win. I think he was about plus 800 yesterday when he had a 3-shot lead. Now he's at 750. Will, you nailed it. You said he's not going away on Friday. He has gained 7 strokes putting on the field through 2 rounds, which is really, really hard to do and might be the reason why he's leading. Do you feel differently about tomorrow, him being in contention and being near that lead like he was today, like you thought he would today?
I mean, listen, the putting is unsustainable. He was, I think, plus 5.2 strokes gained putting on Thursday, and that was why he was able to beat the field by several shots. I think he has just the comportment and the maturity at age 44 as a world number 1, a major champion, gold medalist, all that stuff, that he knows how to handle this situation. I don't know that he can keep that putter, another plus 7 over the weekend. So I also wonder about the pressure of trying to go wire to wire. It's almost like you're trying to thread this needle of you want someone else to go and take the mantle going into Saturday or going into Sunday to take some of the pressure off, but you don't want to get them to be too far out to where you're really having a tough time catching them. I think he's going to be pretty consistent. I mean, when he got out early this morning and everyone's saying you can't keep putting the way you did, and he rolls in a 20-footer for birdie on the second hole and just kind of chugs right along. You're right. He did not go run and hide away from the field. He didn't get to 11 or 12 under and really change the dynamic of this tournament. But I don't think he's going to shoot a 76 tomorrow. I think we're definitely going to go into Sunday talking about Justin Rose with a legitimate chance to win this tournament. I liked him at plus 700, plus 800 last night. I think on this board, I still think there's some value at plus 750. And certainly you're sitting there at plus money for a live top 5. Yes, please.
I think Casey's buying now today.
Well, a little.
Come on.
A little bit. But this is my concern, and Will kind of spoke to it there. There's a lot of different elements at play that you're kind of waiting for one of them to come up. Right now, everything's going really well for him. Never mind just the putting numbers being good for a good putter. His putting was pretty shaky coming into this week. So, for him to sustain that, not only that, he's got the mental factor of he came so close to winning it here. He's got the first round leads. He wants it here. And, when you combine it all, if he holds on, goes wire to wire after that first round he has, plays consistently, fends off the likes of number 1 and 2 in the world, Bryson DeChambeau, I mean, we're going to look at one of the best Masters wins we've ever seen. So when you compile that together, it's hard for me to fully buy in. I just don't know if Justin Rose can deliver such an amazing 4-round stretch with so many, battlers right behind him. But hey, if he makes me my words, we're about to see something really incredible from Justin Rose over this week.
We'd love to see him in the final group Sunday. You kidding me?
I will say, Chris, with Rose, I mean, yes, it would be great to see him in the final group, but he's going to have a rough stretch. It's probably going to be tomorrow, but you look back at what Rory endured on Thursday, you look at what Scottie endured today. Everyone in this tournament eventually has that 5 or 6 hole stretch where it's like, oh man, what the heck is happening? He has not hit that yet, and it will come eventually, and it just depends on how hard that hits and how much time he has left to recover on the other side.
So if you're really into the historic trends at Augusta, we've got to tell you this. 37 of the last 38 winners of the Masters were inside the top 10 after 2 rounds. Now, this isn't the entire top 10. There's a couple of more. I know Rasmus Højgaard also is -4. So there's some more names out there. The winner's on this board, guys. The winner has to be on this board. I mean, you feel otherwise? Anybody feel otherwise?
No,
I mean, I got to think it is. But I mean, yesterday we were talking about our winners in that top 11 range, and then here comes Rory. So who knows? Maybe it's a year for, some of those trends to be broken, including, the career Grand Slam never be complete at the Masters. So I think it's on that board. But stuff got crazy today. It might get crazy tomorrow and Sunday. So, but I got to think. I feel pretty confident on there, but just hedging myself.
Will, we got Morikawa, Oberg. I mean, they got to shoot, what, 64 tomorrow?
Maybe not. I mean, if the wind kicks up, listen, today was the day that they expected a little bit of weather, a little bit of rain. It came overnight. It didn't impact play during the second round. So it got a little crispy out there, and I think that's going to continue through the weekend. So, again, the winning score or the leading score right now is at 8. It's not at 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And now maybe you're looking at a situation where 12 under could win the tournament, or 13 under. So if you're, Colin Morikawa or the group at 3 under, you think maybe 67 get you to 8 to give yourself a chance. But yeah, I agree. I think that, historically speaking, it's so hard to really come back from very far down, especially trying to put 2 low ones together on the weekend. I think that the winner is on this graphic. And I will say, in addition to 37 out of 38, we've had 31 out of 38 that have been T5 or better heading into Saturday. So that even thins it a little bit more. If you're looking at those guys at 5 under or better, are probably where your Masters champions living.
Let's look from the bottom up on this leaderboard. Best value to you, Casey, on this board right now, who you realistically think has a good chance Sunday afternoon?
I mean, he's not being spoken about. He's got the higher odds when he's at the top of the leaderboard. He loves this course. It's Corey Connors. He's been dialed all year. He looks great this week. He was the top 10 machine at this place 3 years in a row. He didn't get it in his last 2 starts, but he had a three-year stretch where he was playing top 10s all the time. Coming into this week, 4 straight top 20s, 3 of those being top 10s. It was all coming together for Corey. And like I said, he is just not on anyone's radar right now. I mean, the conversations aren't out there about him. Posts aren't really getting fired off about him. Conversations aren't happening. We need more Corey Connors talk. Love the Canadian going into the week.
He also picked him pre-tournament too. That helps.
Are you prepared to trust Corey Connors with a putt of consequence on Sunday? Oof. You're ready to live that life?
How about even Saturday? Let's start with Saturday.
Yes, Saturday. Yes. I love how he's playing right now. I don't know if I trust anyone on Sunday anymore. Will especially
I will say tomorrow is going to be fascinating to watch him because of how these pairings have shaken out. He's going to be in the next to last group playing with Rory. I mean, that is bright lights, big city time. You're right that he's played well here before, 3 straight top 10, so he knows this place, but it feels like it's going to be a little bit of an elevated factor than even what he's had before.
For skill set and odds price, you put those two together, we have 2 massive wild cards on this board. One of them's Tyrrell Hatton. The other one is Victor Hovland, Will. I mean, we saw him get up there. He got to 6 under, I believe, at one point, and then fell back a little bit. That's the kind of player. If you're digging deep and you want to get to the very end, the very precipice of that trend of 37 out of 38, he's it. Do you believe in him or Hatton to make a move tomorrow?
I think Hovland is fascinating. He was asked after the round to rate his own swing on a scale of 1 to 10. He said he's a solid 6.5 right now. So take that for what you will. But then he did say that when he won at Valspar, he was a 4. So maybe there's a little bit of self-assessment scaling we need to do. But you're right. Listen, a lot of guys struggle with 17 and 18. Victor Hovland was not alone in doing that when he was to 6 under and then closed bogey. Tyrrell Hatton missed that really short putt on 17 to knock him out. He was up to 7 under at one point. It really looked like he was going to be in one of those last couple groups. They're certainly alive at this point. My eyes, Chris, are going right to Shane Lowry. I feel like we are not talking about Shane Lowry enough. He is a major champion. He has played well here before, T3 in 2022. And if this place gets firm and fast, and if the wind kicks up and it gets more difficult to score and make birdies, that is music to Shane Lowry's ears. I really think that he's in a great position to fly under the radar. Everyone can talk about Scottie and Rory and Scottie. Justin Rose is going to get some of the heat as the overnight leader. No one's going to be worrying about Shane Lowry. He can put up another 68 or so and head into Sunday with a really, really good chance to win the Masters.
Will, question for you. Do you trust Shane Lowry to hit a putt of consequence on Sunday?
I wouldn't.
More than Corey Connors. The guy has won a major, and he has the same modifieds here at Augusta. And he has also, he didn't go top 10 through the Florida swing, but 5 out of the last 6 have been top 20s. He had the runner-up to Rory at Pebble. He's been playing some really good golf, and not enough people have been talking about him. I still think that that's where I'm throwing my dart.
I just get a little concerned with his finishing power as well. I guess we just have similar opinions about the guys we're each rooting for, but I feel similar about Lowry. I know he has that major 6 years ago now, but he does have a major under his belt. But it feels like just lately when he's got those moments of being in contention, he even kind of speaks to it like that. He's had a couple 54-hole leads where his quotes going in are like, I can't control tomorrow, and I am who I am with whatever happens. Like, that's not what I want to hear out of my guy leading 54 holes. I want to hear, I'm going to take this thing tomorrow. So, hopefully one of them proves us wrong. One of us looks smart. One of us wins. I'm happy.
We got a long way to go.
If we're going to talk about under the radar, you guys, I don't think I've been more impressed tee to green, on the green, than anybody with Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, the fact that he's plus 330, even with Rory, he's a favorite. That's probably why he's not getting a lot of talk on the odds list. This guy is getting up and down from everywhere. He's really not stressing about it. I mean, he's making the putts that he needs to make. He's hitting at 350 on the holes he needs to hit at 350. He's not really taking advantage of those par fives, but nobody is. 13 and 15 are playing harder than they have ever. I mean, Will, is Bryson as big a favorite, you think, as Scottie Scheffler tomorrow?
I mean, he certainly deserves to be in this mix as the reigning U.S. Open champion. We got to go back to since 1964. Only Tiger in the Tiger Slam has won the Masters as the reigning U.S. Open champion. It's only happened 4 times ever. So we're into rarefied air a little bit. I'll take it. It's a little bit inside baseball here. Peel back the curtain. So I'm in the press building at Augusta National, and there's a huge window, and it faces, we're in the back of the practice area, so it faces out to the range. So for like half the day, I just see Bryson DeChambeau drilling drivers at my head, and it's nonstop. The guy he was there before I was, certainly today. He'll probably be there after I leave tonight. But that's the dynamic of, he's just been out there grinding, and it is starting to show, because remember last year he got off to that really hot start, shoots a 65, and didn't shoot better than 73 the rest of the way and kind of faded off to a T6 finish. Now he comes back around and he seems just a little more comfortable. He understands the bounces, the nuance of this place. We are far removed from when he was, talking about this is a par 67 for me and kind of putting his foot in his mouth. And you're right, Chris, everything for him is going to hinge on the short game. And it's what can he do on and around the greens. He was super impressive with his short game en route to winning at Pinehurst. I'm going to need to see a little bit more of it, especially tomorrow, because inevitably he is going to start missing some of these greens, and you're going to have to get up and down like you did today. But I don't think he's going away. I really think that we're going to have a board that's going to include Rose and Bryson and Rory and Scottie. I don't think any ejections from that quartet are coming tomorrow.
He's got 3 different occasions where he's gone back-to-back 60s in majors, 2 U.S. Open wins, and the second place at the PGA last year. So he's in line for at least the top 2. Any closing thoughts here, guys, before we go say goodbye?
This is great. I mean, I'm just so pumped. Casey said it before. Like, this is a grade A Masters. Get your popcorn ready. Whatever egg salad pimento combo you want to put on the couch tomorrow. It is going to be rock and roll for moving day. I can't wait to see how this weekend unfolds. And I know we're going to see like 17 things that are going to make our jaw drop, and then we'll pick it back up and run it again tomorrow.
Yeah, that leaderboard is script worthy. It almost looks fake going into this weekend. Super excited to watch what we got. There's long shots, there's top dogs. We got everything we could want going into this weekend, and the weather looks great. So let's have a Masters.